Now, former Ghana Football Association President Nyantakyi, who was handed a lifetime ban by football's world governing body FIFA on Tuesday, says he is appealing the ruling. Mr. Nyantakyi's ban is in connection with dealings captured in secret recordings by investigative journalist Anas Arimiao Anas in the famous Number 12 documentary. The former FA boss, in addition to the lifetime ban, is also to stay away from all football-related activities and pay a fine of nearly $500,000. But Mr. Nyantakyi, in a press release copied to myjoyonline.com, said he will seek redress at the Court of Arbitration of Sports. And the statement reads, "I wish to express my shock and deep sadness after receiving the decision from the FIFA Ethics Adjudicatory Committee on Tuesday. My legal advisors are under instructions to urgently appeal the decision as I think it was unfair, harsh, and unwarranted. I will use all the legal channels available to seek redress and establish the facts I presented to the committee. Even though I have already resigned from all my football positions, it is important to establish that I establish the facts with the sole aim of clearing my name. At this moment, I am unable to provide any further details as my lawyers are reviewing the facts for appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sport. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to the people of Ghana, Africa, and indeed across the globe for the overwhelming support and outpouring of sympathy." The statement from Mr. Nyantakyi comes as concerns grow about government's delay in prosecuting the former football administrator when FIFA has concluded its work. The National Democratic Congress has called on the Criminal Investigations Department, CID, to independently investigate the activities of Ghanaian football officials in the Number 12 video. In a statement signed by the national organizer, Kofi Adams, the party said the ban of the former GFA boss, Kofi Nyantakyi, by FIFA after months of rigorous investigations raises serious questions about the involvement of President Akufo-Addo in the bribery scandal. The NDC explained that if FIFA acted based on the Anas Number 12 video and had investigations done, then the same can be done in Ghana. But legal practitioner Samson Ladi Ayenini explains FIFA's verdict has absolutely no influence on Ghana's prosecution of the case, adding he's not sure the evidence available can effectively support criminal prosecution of the former FA boss. He spoke on Joy FM Super Morning Show.
In our statutes, I cannot see the crime in that. Conflict of interest, who is he dealing with? The country where he's dealing with, and FIFA's laws clearly prohibit what he has done. Yeah. And so FIFA has dealt with him according to their rules. Their rules are rules of ethics. So it is much a question of ethical conduct. It is much a question of impropriety. Questions of morality, ethical conduct may not necessarily be criminal. So what he has done, FIFA's processes are not criminal processes. FIFA's processes are what you may call what is based on the standard of balance of probabilities. They are not processes that require to prove something beyond reasonable doubt. And therefore, it is possible for what to have happened to happen. You could be punished. Mm-hmm. And some of the offenses are not criminal offenses. He was getting into a business transaction with him. Yeah. The person must show that in that process, he may have defrauded him. How much did he defraud him of? That can be a clear example where you have defrauded somebody. Then he could be prosecuted on that leg. You must prove his guilt beyond reasonable doubt. If you don't discharge that burden, the person cannot be, as it were, found guilty. So I guess we should be asking now what Anas may have supplied. Those who may have received it, we understand Iyoko received some, the special prosecutor may have also received some of that. What further investigations may have revealed? We should be asking them the questions. They should show us whether or not their investigations, there was need for further investigations, and what the further investigations have concluded on. Otherwise, what you just saw on that footage and the pronouncements of the man on that footage, I can say that 1,000 times, are not matters that will constitute a criminal prosecution.
Not even.
A lawyer for Anas, Kisi Jabeng, who was called up on the show, however, disagreed. Listen.
With all the facets that are available to the various state institutions, they should come out with a determination whether indeed the evidence is solid enough for them to go on or otherwise.
So, lawyer, what did you think was the way to go? You mentioned that in your determination and in the determination of your client, you thought this has been committed, this has. What has been committed?
Several things. There's bribery, there's corruption. I will give you two. The others I will hold for my purposes.
In our laws, isn't bribery and corruption limited to public officials by our laws?
Depends on how you are looking at it. It depends on how you are looking at it.
How should we look at it?
The one who is engineering it and the one on whose behalf it is being engineered. Depends on how you look at it. And the aim and final object of the person who was engineering it. If you look at it critically, everything will fall into its right chips.
What's of the question of jurisdiction, lawyer? The fact that this was committed in another country. What was recorded anyway? It is.
You have concluded that it was committed in another country because the video was recorded in Dubai. But mind you, the company was set up in Ghana in pursuance of the meeting in Dubai. 7 days after, or 10 days after the meeting, the company was set up here. And then accounts were set up here in anticipation of receiving monies here in Ghana, all in pursuance of this enterprise. So it is for the state institutions to go through what was given to them and come to a conclusion or otherwise. But as for beyond reasonable doubt, say, what do you need more than a person who is seen on tape doing this or that? You want God himself to come down to tell you that this is what he did. Unless you're saying that the video evidence was dreamed of, it wasn't there, it was contrived, it was manufactured. Otherwise, you'll be calling on God himself to come and testify.
Well, Deputy Attorney General Joseph Memka Dindiok has meanwhile told JoyNews the AG's department has not reneged on its duties as is being suggested by a section of the public. It says government will soon clarify the status of the case against the former FA boss, Nyantakyi.
Based on available facts and evidence that come to our attention and our custody. And two, it is upon an assessment and critical analysis of such pieces of evidence and documentation before us that we can proffer charges upon careful scrutiny. And remember that for every offense that you intend to charge any person, it must be accompanied by certain ingredients available for the proof of that crime. These are primary and fundamental. And unless somebody outside there can tell all of us as Ghanaians that indeed all these documentation and pieces of evidence have been made available to the Office of the Attorney General and that we are not proceeding with it to court, I will say that whatever is being said now remains in the realms of speculation and without basis. Whatever docket comes to us, we look at it as a body and as a state institution, and when we come to certain conclusions, we proceed to court. So I can tell you without any equivocation and without a shred of doubt that nobody is shielding any person. And as you have rightly pointed out certain fundamental questions to the lawyer and etc., I can tell you that at the appropriate time, we as an office will issue an official position on this particular matter. In matters of this nature, you cannot compare a criminal prosecution that will take place in Ghana to whatever civil inquisition that FIFA might have made into Nyantakyi's conduct. So the two are different. I speak with you, it is not the case that we have refused to prosecute. What is the case is that evidence is being gathered by the state agencies, and when they put together all that and we review the dockets and come to one conclusion that indeed crime has been committed, we shall proceed to court.
Have the investigators submitted the result of the investigation to the AG's department yet?
Preliminarily, they hadn't. But as I can tell you that because of the vested public interest and etc., I will personally consult with my boss and we get the appropriate information that is available here. Whatever it is that is there, we will let Ghanaians know that this is what we are doing as a state entity or body responsible for prosecutions in respect of the matter. So we shall be feeding the public with more information within the shortest possible time.
Let's stay on this a while longer because the man whose undercover investigation led to the life ban of former Ghana Football Association President says he will not gloat over the downfall of Kwesi Nyantakyi, and asks who is a keynote speaker at the ongoing Africa Investigative Journalism Conference at the a university in Johannesburg, South Africa, says he was hearing the ban for the first time from the audience and would not go into details. He told his audience, made up of investigative journalists drawn from across Africa and other parts of the world, he fought a system and not a personality.
I haven't seen the story yet, and so at this stage I would just say no comments. A lot of these issues are in courts, and strategically so. I am not one person who loves to rejoice about somebody's misfortune. I think that I fought a system and not a personality. And I'm happy that the system is down, and I'm happy that changes are being brought. For me, those are very, very important issues.